Hello everybody and welcome back to Tlatoani, where we are currently working on potentially getting some more farming done out over this way. And in order to do that, we should really bring a road across here and then do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then this is where an additional canal is going to end up going, except we want stone canals. So we're going to have that go there like this, and then that'll go all the way up over here, which is mildly awkward, but sure. Okay, so this road would hypothetically go like that. And that's very hypothetical, because it's not actually going to have a connection out over here. So this road here could get a connection here. So we can do something like that. And then I'm thinking we don't really need that much farmland, is what I'm thinking right now. So we'll just have this be the case for the moment. And if we check in on our maize supply here, we can see we're definitely going down by 53. So each of these large cottages here, can we see how much maize this is actually producing? We can see that each of these maize fields produces 3.2 per year. Okay, so 3.2 times 16, as usual, I'm going to have to grab my phone for this. I don't know where my phone is. Okay, that's awkward. I think I left it in the other room. So 3.2 times 16. Okay, I'll have to try to do this in my head, and that's not going to go very well probably, but it's going to be 30 plus 6.2 times 6 would be 36. No, yeah. Okay. It's like... my math is definitely going badly here. This is going very badly. It's a fair number, that's for sure. I really wish I knew where my phone was right now. Alas, I do not. So we're just going to have to go with it the old-fashioned way. So it's going to be like 30... No, it's going to be like 40-some per year. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, for sure. It's going to be like 40, 48 maybe, something like that. It would be enough to have just this farm. I'm quite certain about that. Even though I can't do mental math right now at 5:30 in the morning. Yeah, we should not be doing mental math at 5:30. Let's not do that. Let's just put in a farmer's hut right here, and we'll call it good. And we'll say, all we need right now is this. And we can put a, like, granary here. There's a decent amount of space there, so that seems okay. So we can do maize fields right out over here. There we go. So that's 3.5. Okay, maybe a bit higher fertility out over here. Interesting. We're also, of course, going to have all of our fruit and chili beds going in here. So there we go. That'll be fine. So then I do think that we should have a granary, which we can just fit in right here. I like it. We don't need that section of road. Okay, so this granary will, of course, be set to accept maize, fruit, and chili, and we can have a decent amount of each. I think 200 of each. Yeah, there we go. So that looks good for now. That will help. And we're interested in expanding our farmland potentially further out this way. So that would mean a road that comes out through these trees like this. And we're going to have to cut into some of these trees. But to be honest, these guys over here, they're not getting very far into this forest. We're getting a lot more cut done up over here than over here. I'm a little surprised about that, actually. Where are these guys getting their harvest from? Yeah, there's some there. It looks very minimal when we're like this, but it's definitely more clear like that. Okay, sure. So we're going to want to get more stone canals down through here for sure. That is not where I told that to go. Okay, we'll do like that. And then like that. Okay, so that seems fine for now, and we can get a couple of additional farms up over this way. We can then... I'm thinking that we're going to just have roads here to connect all of this together. And then that'll connect down to this road down here. And then that can go up this way, which means that we can also develop this area. So that means that we'll need to bring a stone canal out over here, approximately. But this is this is a little too big. That's fine. We can have like services or whatever up over this way. I think that's completely fine, and we can have some services up here as well. So that would mean like a bridge here, and then this would connect into this road over here and allow access up here and over here. So then we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then right here would have some access, and then that would go right like that, which actually means that we can get rid of that. And we can come back to this a little later on and see what we want to do with this space up here. So that'll give us access to an additional farmhouse right here, which I think is perfect. This is going to be a little overkill on the amount of food production that we need to do, and that's good. We want that because we are going to have some population growth between now and when we finish this scenario, which we're getting pretty close to finishing this scenario, actually. That's not where I want this. Let's put this right up over here. There we go. And then the maze is going to go in here, and then the fruit trees are going to go about like this. That's a little awkward, but I think I got that all correct. Okay, so something along the lines of that is what we're going for. I'm assuming the road over here is in. Yes, it is. Okay, so that looks good. We'll get those farmhouses online, and then this up over here, I don't know what we'll do with that, but we'll figure out something. So that looks okay for the moment. Now, down over this way, how are things going? Well, we need a lot of stone. We need a whole lot of stone down here. So that's absolutely understood. I'm looking at the housing down over this way, and I'm thinking, are singers a noble job? They might be. I think that's reasonably likely. I think we're going to need more than just these 4 noble compounds, right? So let's think about putting in a noble compound here, and a noble compound here and here, like that, to just help flesh this area out a little bit. That should be good. So our prosperity is at 39 out of 55 right now. I want to check in on our wages and taxes. We're collecting no taxes, and our wages are maximized. Okay, so that looks great. No issue there. So all we need now is stone, pretty much. And we're going to need more stone for these noble compounds, too. So that's going to be, you know, exciting. I'm sure it'll be fine. This border yard here, I really would like to have that be the top priority in this area, and we really do want to see these mason yards get built as well. I see that this one did get built. That's great. I'm really, really happy to see that. We could also put in an additional common home in each of these locations. It's going to have a little bit of extra space here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to tuck it back over here. And we're going to run 1 tile of stone road up to it like this. And then this could be theoretically garden space if we have any gardeners that are nearby. And we do. Okay. So that looks good. Yeah, that'll be, I think, fine. It allowed us to build it anyway, so I'm sure it'll be okay. So that looks fine for the moment, and currently our prestige is at 15 out of 60. That will increase a lot as our stone starts coming in here, but our stone is also being diverted up over this way, right? So that's understood. These canals up over this way, they are currently blocking this from flooding, and that seems okay. So we've got this food coming in here. Now I want to check in on this market. So 0 out of 20 maize, 0 out of 20 fruit, 4 out of 20 chili. Okay. This one's doing pretty well on the maize. Out over here, that one's doing okay. This is doing fine, I suppose. Down this direction, this market is okay. I think we're actually reasonably fine on the maize. It's just that some of these markets aren't getting quite enough. In particular, this one, but this granary should help that, in theory. And we can expand our farmland further this way if we need to. So we can absolutely do that. We can also expand it out this direction. So we've got lots of farmland expansion opportunity here. And that looks absolutely fine for now. So that's all looking good. I do want to get more stone imported. I see that we just got a little bit in, and it's going to be pretty much instantly gone. The moment it comes in, it goes back out and gets put into one of these projects. We've got a lot of projects needing stone right now. We've got these canals that need to go in, and to be honest, I kind of want to take these canals out now that this canal is in. I don't know what we'll do with that space. Maybe this gardener can have additional crops? No, that's at 30 of 30. So I don't know what we'll do with that space. We could just run a road up this way. Actually, that would not be a terrible idea. We wouldn't even have to Chinampa that. And we could do the same thing here. This granary is kind of in the way there, but it has to go in this corner because of the porter yard. We could move the porter yard to here. Would that cause us any major issues? I don't think so. Because we've got this one up over here. Do it. I'm going to move that porter yard there, and then once that's done, we'll get the granary moved up to here, but it's going to have to be temporarily moved out over here. And then it's going to have to be moved up here, because we can't place it overlapping itself. So we're going to have to get that going, and that's going to be a bit of a project. It's going to take some time for that to happen. So that's understood. I do want to check in on our status of stone. We need so much stone. At least we've got this mason yard here that will hopefully help keep our memorials from crumbling. This one needs some work. As does this, actually. The condition on these is not great. This one's okay. But yeah, we definitely need to get these mason yards to actually be repairing this area. And for that, they're going to need a stockpile of stone. Stone is a big, big lack for us. To the point where I'm kind of wondering if maybe we want to get another trading post that is pretty much just about importing stone. We could bring a road down like this, and then I think we can maybe fit a trading post down over here. Yeah, right there. And then that's going to be with, I think it was Texcoco? Yes. All you're doing is importing stone. That's the whole thing. We don't need anything else there. And I want this connection to be like right there. Yeah, we can't put it here because there's a gap here. So that looks good. Cool. So everything is under control on that front in theory, but I definitely do want to get some additional stone on the way in. We'll get that done soon enough, I hope. But we'll see. We will see. More stone coming in would be good, because we're making progress on this, but we're also starting to fall behind on it due to repairs, which is certainly problematic. We've already had to replace a couple of these memorials, and they're not actually done as it is. So I'm wondering if we're going to need even more than the 4 mason yards that we have here right now. Now, we only have 2 mason yards here completed, but we do have 4 queued up. There's a mason yard here and here. So we'll see about that one. This, of course, is going to need stone to get completed, and that'll be a bit challenging. We need a lot of stone. So at this point, I think our best bet is to run this road right up here, like that. And that will hopefully update these canals to make them look more like canals and less like walls, like retaining walls. We'll see. We will see. So we'd love to get these moved, but that's going to take some time. Let's go ahead and speed up the game a little bit here and go to like 4x speed. At this point, we're mostly just waiting for some things to happen. There's not too much else that we need to do, I don't think. Most of this will get solved once we manage to get all of the stone imported and all of this construction done, assuming that we're able to actually get these repairs done. That's the big assumption. I mean, we're out inspecting buildings, but since we don't have much stone, that's probably going to continue to be an issue. We're at 25 stone right now. We were just at 40, so some of it got eaten up by this stuff out over here. Or, potentially, by these canals. Yeah, it looks like these canals did not visually update. Maybe they will once they're constructed. We'll see. I'd like them to look like they have 2 walls. That would be neat. But for now, we're just waiting for this stone. That's the whole thing. I would love to increase our stone production, but we can't. This map does not allow us to harvest stone. So that is very, very sad. So at this point, we're just kind of waiting it out. We do have an excess of working age adults, so more jobs would be good. That's for sure. And if we look in this granary right now, we can see there's currently nothing being accepted there. That's interesting because it's been moved over to here, but these are not actually built yet. That's very interesting. Is this granary reaching these guys? No. No, it is not. But we do need a well dipper over here, so we should probably consider putting one in. That is a good point that this tooltip just made. So let's put in a well dipper somewhere around... I don't like the spacing that I've done here. Okay, somewhere around here. And we can also slap in a sentry post right there. That'll be fine. So that well dipper is no big deal, but that sentry post, of course, requires stone. So that's going to be a bit of a problem. And as you can see now, we are net negative in our axe monies. This is probably because this trading post is now built and has started importing stone as well. Okay. No serious losses reported. Cool. So this porter yard has now been moved. This granary is going to have to be moved again. And that's absolutely noted. Are you a mason? Okay, yeah. So these canals are starting to be finished out over this way. But we're still waiting on more stone coming in. So a second trading yard working on that will be fine. We could even put another one up over here, potentially. Ah. Some of these residential walls are starting to crumble. Presumably due to lack of maintenance. And that's fine. For the moment, I'm going to leave them. And we'll replace them a little later on. They're low priority. I don't want to put resources into them at this moment. We will get them put in later. So that seems relatively fine for now. Emphasis on relatively. I am thinking about another trading post. Like right here, though. Also trading for stone. Let's do it. So that's going to be with Texcoco, and we're going to have this be importing the maximum quantity of stone. So that's underway, but that's probably not going to get built for a while. So that will get us some additional amounts of stone, but not a tremendous amount. Out over here, of course, we need 100 more stone to get this granary built, but then this granary will be removed and that stone will be freed. But this is definitely not being prioritized by the game at this time. But yeah, these canals over here, they did not update. That's a little unfortunate. This one's a little bit broken too. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Tlaloc is displeased by our lack of devotion. Really? I'm surprised about that because we have a temple to Tlaloc. Is that actually completed? Well, it's a great temple. So we should probably consider putting in a shrine to Tlaloc, and Tlaloc is the god of rain. So somewhere, not a temple, I'm going to do a shrine. Somewhere out over here is probably not bad. This is average symmetry. This would be good symmetry right here. I'm going to do it. So we're going to need a road right there. That's going to take a little time to get that put in, of course. That's going to require more stone and artwork. So that's going to be a little rough. There's also this spot up over here. And that would be an interesting spot to put a temple to Tlaloc if, you know, it was a lot bigger. It's not. So that's something that we don't need to really think about at all at this point. So I'm not concerned about clay and timber. I am still very concerned about stone levels. I see that this trading post has now been finished and is apparently heading out to trade with Texcoco. So Sure. That looks good. We now have 3 trading posts importing stone. We need a lot of stone. We need clay too, but I'm less concerned about clay. I would love to see this granary actually get moved, but for that, we need stone. So eventually our traders will come back, but there's so much stone needed here. So much stone. So that's going to take a while. In the meantime, we are going to see some of these residential walls crumble. Some of these other buildings are probably going to go down. Yeah, this memorial went down again. This stela went down here and here. This isn't terribly surprising to me. And I'm going to leave them until such a time as some of these other structures finish. So any structures that go down due to lack of maintenance, we're going to leave for the moment until after we finish the other structures and have some excess stone flowing. That's going to be very useful. So that looks good. We'll see a decent amount of stone coming in, hopefully, over here, as well as some stone coming in over here. And of course, this stone, which I'm just going to bump that up to, wait, that was obsidian. Hang on. Stone. There we go. That'll be good. So we'll get that going. That will be absolutely fine for now. This sweeper is currently strained. We can put in another sweeper somewhere. Hang on. It's under health and safety. Somewhere over here. I like it. So this sweeper is also strained, so this will help remove some strain from both of those. And that sounds good. Our staff are out making repairs. This mason yard is currently somewhat strained as well. So we may want to consider another mason yard somewhere, perhaps over this way. Perhaps like here. It's a kind of awkward spot, but it would help remove some of this stuff from this mason yard. Let's do it. So that looks good. I'd love to get more stone in here. That's, of course, going to be very necessary. Eventually, it will happen. Eventually, we'll have enough stone for all of this. This granary hasn't yet been moved, and wait a sec. We were going to put this granary where this shrine is. We're going to have to put the shrine to Tlaloc somewhere else. That's okay. Where do we want to put that? That could be... This is actually good symmetry right here. Do it. So that's been removed, and we're now going to put in the shrine to Tlaloc right here instead. So that seems absolutely fine for now. We'll get that underway. And eventually we'll see this granary be moved. Eventually. I'm noticing that we're still net positive on our axe monies, even with all of this extra stone being imported. And the extra stone is, of course, immediately getting consumed. Oh, look at that. We finished the ball court. Okay. So we've got workers there, but we are currently lacking the nobles. That's not surprising. We don't have any noble compounds finished at this time. So that's, you know, exciting. No doubt about that. But we are going to finish the noble compounds fairly soon. We're working on these temples. Those will get done eventually as well. And the Great Temple is in need of some high priests. So yeah, noble compounds are definitely a thing that we need. There's no doubt about that. So that's all looking fine for now-ish. Fine-ish, we'll go with. And out over this direction, how's that temple to Tlaloc going? Actually, it has all the stone it needs. All it needs now is artwork. That's interesting. And this granary has now been moved, so we want to move it back, and I'm going to just tuck it in right over here. Perfect. So that looks fine. We're going to have to wait for that, but we can now connect up this road, which means that this shrine to Tlaloc will get a lot more territory covered, and that's great. Some of our diversion venues are overcrowded. That's probably this up over here again. I'm not terribly surprised about that. And this fortress is pretty strained over here as well. So that's also pretty unsurprising. For now, though, we're definitely seeing a lot of progress being made out over here. Our masons are attempting to keep up with this area, but as we can see, there's definitely things crumbling out over here, and we're not terribly surprised about that. We just need to get some of this stuff built, and then we can start replacing it. We need to work through some of this stone deficit. So that'll take a little time. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we're going to start actually having this stone maybe start to pile up a little bit. That would be good. But we still need so much stone in these areas. It's absurd. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Aurelio, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.